Those little irritations show us where we are not fully free yet. I don't want to be a slave to my conditioning. That's old shit coming up. You're listening to Say It Anyway, the podcast for people who know they're meant for more and are done holding back. I'm Maggie Marcus, and here we talk courage, self-trust, and what it takes to lead yourself, even when it scares the hell out of you. All right, I gotta ask you guys something. Have you ever been irritated by something small and immediately told yourself you're just being ridiculous? That happened to me the other day over honey. Yeah, honey. Like Pooh Bear, honey. Like, I love to have yogurt and fruit and granola and honey sometimes for breakfast. So I'm going downstairs and I'm going to make myself a bowl, do the yogurt, but I put the fruit, I put the granola, and I open the cabinet to get the honey. But guess what? There's no freaking honey. Well, actually, there was a little bit of honey. It was turned upside down, where there's like some drizzle trying to get the last little bit. And I immediately got so irritated. I was so irritated. And my first thought was like, why does this bug me so much? Like, why am I so irritated? It's just honey. And I can go get more if I need to, right? But I've been noticing that irritation popping up a lot more lately. And I think like it's always been there, now that I like look back, but I've just been way more aware of it lately. It's not like big things. It's like little things, right? Like the honey got used up way faster than I expected. Like I had lived alone for maybe 6, 7 years. I hate that my brain just went 6, 7. But like I lived on my own and I like knew how much I was using of the stuff that I had. It was always there when I expected it to be, right? Like, but now I live with my fiance and his daughter, and I can't control how fast things go and like if they get used up or not, right? So I just find myself now noticing that I get a little more irritated about things, and not just like resources and food like honey and toilet paper or whatever. It's also with like cleaning up messes that aren't mine, like finding empty packets of like from the mac and cheese or the Splenda just like left open on the counter, spills on the stovetop, shoes and things in places where they don't belong. And I'm feeling like if I don't do it, who's going to do it? Nope, no one will. And at first I tell myself, like, I'm just being silly. I'm just overreacting. For example, it's just honey. Go buy more, or just pick up the shoes. It takes literally like 10 seconds. And I'm wondering to myself, as I'm noticing this more and more, I'm like, is this a scarcity thing? Like, is it that I'm afraid that this is going to cost me more money replenishing shit I want that I barely even got to use in the first place? Or is it like time scarcity, right? Or am I just overreacting? Like, why am I being so uptight? Why does this bug me so much? But the more I've sat with it, the more I realized it wasn't quite any of that. It's not about like money or the scarcity. It really comes down to choice. Like when I'm cleaning up messes that aren't mine, the dirty counters, the crumbs that are everywhere, the shoes left in the living room, it doesn't feel like a choice. It feels like I said, if I don't do it, who's going to do it? And in that moment, my body reacts. And I notice it really creates a state change in my body where like almost instantly I get hot, my chest tightens, I feel tense, I feel irritated, and I find that I become a bit resentful, towards the other people that are living with me. And I don't like who I become in that state. And that state change matters to me because it affects my thoughts and my mood and my presence, because now I'm in my head and in these like negative thoughts and these negative feelings. And this is where I think people can hear this and be like, yeah, Maggie, everyone gets annoyed by things like that. What of it? Right? And sure, yeah, maybe on the surface, but two people can experience the same situation very differently in their body. Like, it's like with public speaking. Say there's one person who will feel a little nervous, but energized and kind of excited about it. And you go to a whole nother person and they're like freaking out. They feel their throats closing, their mind's going blank, their whole body wants to escape. Same situation, completely different internal experience. And that difference matters because it shapes how we respond, how long it stays with us, and who we become in the moment. I think that's really important, who we become in the moment. Because who I become in the moment, I don't like that. I don't like that feeling of that resentment and that frustration and that irritation. I don't like that. And I don't want to be that way or to feel that way. Because I consider myself a pretty free spirited, free flowing, like easygoing person. So I don't like who I become in that moment. But those little irritations, they're important because they show us where we are not fully free yet, where something outside of us is still running the moment, where something outside of us is still deciding how we feel. So I want to bring those things into my awareness so I better understand myself and I can use it to change and be aligned with who I want to be and not let that control me. I don't want to be a slave to my conditioning. That's old shit coming up. Because for me, growing up, I often felt stuck and trapped. Like as a first generation kid living in, an immigrant home, I often felt that, right? I sort of lived this double life where there was two versions of me, one for my family and one for the outside world. And showing up as my full self in either space didn't really feel safe. So I was constantly monitoring the room, adjusting, carefully and selectively choosing what I shared and what I hid, making sure that I didn't say or do the wrong thing, trying to keep the peace. Like my choices felt restricted in how I expressed my emotion and even in my personality. Like I didn't really feel this lightness, and it felt like choices weren't always mine. They were made for me, where I went to school, staying out with friends, trips I wanted to take, decisions that didn't really feel like mine, but also in how I got to show up, right? Because that didn't quite feel like mine either, having to adapt myself to fit other people's expectations. And maybe your version of this looks a little different. Maybe I was growing up with money limits where wanting more felt unsafe or selfish, or you just couldn't have the things you wanted to because you guys didn't have the funds, right? Or maybe it was feeling pressure to hide parts of your identity to be accepted. Maybe you didn't feel like you had a choice in that. Or being raised in a belief system or religion that you didn't choose. Or having to grow up fast and be responsible for others. Like you didn't choose that. Or moving constantly and never getting to build roots. Or feeling like you had to be the easy, the good one who didn't rock the boat. Different stories, but same nervous system learning. I don't really get a say. So when choices feel taken away now, even in small moments, my body reacts as if something important is being threatened. The threat isn't the mess. It's the loss of agency. Agency is feeling like you have a choice. It's the difference between I'm doing this because I want to and I'm doing this because I have to. So when you're reacting to a situation, you're like, I didn't choose this, but now I got to deal with it. And now that feels like a loss of agency. And when you lose agency, tension increases and resentment builds, and your body goes on high alert. On a deeper level, it can feel like a loss of self because choice keeps us from defaulting into old patterns that aren't really us. And so when we lose agency, even in tiny everyday ways, honey, messes, plans, we don't recognize it for what it is. Instead, we do things like blame the other person. They are so irresponsible. Why can't they just pick up after themselves? And maybe we feel bitter and resentful. Or we turn it on ourselves and we call ourselves dramatic. And we tell ourselves we just need to chill. Stop making such a big deal out of things. Or maybe we label it as we have a mindset issue or a money issue. Now we're in scarcity. But what if it's none of that? What if it's not a mindset thing? It's a nervous system pattern. Even if this resonates a little bit, it might be worth considering that what you're dealing with isn't a mindset problem. It might be a safety and control wound. A nervous system that learned to stay on high alert when choice disappeared or was threatened. We can't heal what we don't see. So when those irritations come up, it's really important to notice and name it. Name the real irritation. I feel irritated because I didn't get a choice. Or this is what I do. This isn't a problem. It's just a mild irritation. You know, when I walk into the kitchen and something's there that I wanted, I planned to have for breakfast and it wasn't there. It's like, okay, this isn't a problem. It's just a minor irritation. And that really helps to soften me. Or you can tell yourself, I'm not really irritated about this. I'm irritated about the inconvenience. Because if you're someone especially that really values autonomy and spaciousness and really values moving in your rhythm and going at your own pace, you know, those disruptions can feel extra irritating because now you've got to react to something that you didn't plan on dealing with that day. And so, yeah, it feels inconvenient. And that's okay. It's okay. But what you can do is restore agency. Ask yourself, what choice do I have right now? Even if it's a small one. Can I ask for help? Can I choose how I respond? I like to remind myself of this. This is a good one too. I can tolerate this without tightening. Or even if things get thrown off, I can handle it without it costing me my peace. Like, even if the honey has run out, what would I do? I'd eat breakfast anyway, or I would eat something else, you know? Like, it really isn't the end of the world, right? Or if we run out of toilet paper, I can go grab some paper towels. It's not ideal, but I'm gonna figure it out, you know? And whatever I choose, I remind myself that is my choice. I'm choosing this. I'm choosing to handle it this way. So I can settle some of that irritation at it not being what the story I created in my head. I think it's not my choice. But now I'm restoring agency by saying, okay, it is what it is. And now I'm choosing how to handle this. And then you respond accordingly, right? To whatever you've said. Your body learns through experience, not logic. So every time you respond with a choice instead of self-attack or exploding at somebody else, right? And like acting in a way that really isn't up to you, you are retraining your nervous system. You are teaching your body you are capable of staying open rather than constricting and shutting down or exploding. This isn't about you never being irritated. It's about understanding why you are and choosing how you want to meet it. We all have patterns and conditioning, but you can respond as who you are now, not who you had to be in the past. Life isn't always going to behave or go your way. And it's not about being able to control everyone and everything in order to feel safe. Real safety is found in yourself, in trusting that you won't collapse when things change or go in unexpected ways. You can stay spacious. You can stay abundant. You can keep your peace. So the next time something small gets a big reaction, don't judge. Get curious. Ask yourself, where did my choice just go? And how can I bring it back? Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If this episode hit home, spread the love. Maybe share it with a friend or drop a comment. I'd love to know what landed for you. And remember, your voice matters. Whatever you're holding back, say it anyway.